Hello, everyone, and welcome to our September office hours. We're excited to be with you again this month. I see quite a few of you are frequent attendees of our office hours. Welcome back. Thanks for joining us. If you're a first timer, the purpose of office hours is to dive deeper into our recently released features, to give you insights into the product roadmap, and also allow you the opportunity to ask questions to members of our product team. On today's call, I'm joined by Jeff Johnson, who is our technical solutions manager, and I always say our resident integrations expert. I'm sure many of you on the call have worked with Jeff as you've gotten your integrations up and running. So we're excited to hear from him today. And we also have Chris Haliua, our VP of Product. As for what we're covering today, Jeff is going to start us off talking about our new Jira V3 integration. So what's new with that? He'll give a little bit of a demo, also show you how you can set that up and the capabilities of this new integration. He'll also be talking about a second new integration that we have recently released, our ConnectWise integration. And then Chris will give an update on View As, so the things that we've seen in beta, any issues that have been fixed, and kind of the plan for a general release of View As. He'll also be talking about the merge tags migration. So as we take merge tags and move those into new custom fields, and then again, give insight into what you can look forward to on our product roadmap coming up here in the next few months and beyond. So we're excited to get started. As you have questions or comments or feedback on anything we talk about in office hours today, please ask your questions or leave your comments in the chat or the Q&A. And as always, we are recording this and we will send out a recording of this following the meeting so you can rewatch or share with your team. Thanks for joining us. And Jeff, we'll kick it off to you.
Great. Thank you, Stacy. All right. Well, I'm going to share my screen here. And okay, so I'm going to go through just a few slides to give an overview of what our latest Jira integration capabilities are. And then we'll do a live demo. So we've had a Jira integration for a number of years, and it really allows you to have the best of both worlds. Your team that lives in GUIDEcx can live in GUIDEcx, and your team that is doing work in Jira can live in Jira, and they are sharing data back and forth without duplication of effort. And the type of things that you can sync are we can sync tasks in GUIDEcx over to issues in Jira. And that includes things like populating in Jira the summary, the assignees. So you can assign a task in GUIDEcx to somebody, and then that will sync over to Jira, creating a task and be assigned to the same person. Or you leave it unassigned in GUIDEcx because you may have a workflow over in Jira that does automatic assignment once an issue is in Jira. Either way, we also will sync the task description with the Jira description and priority, start date, due date. And now we make it a lot easier to sync custom fields in GUIDEcx with Jira custom fields. So it's easy to specify what the mapping is going to be for any additional fields that you might want to sync on epics or issues. Then also we sync comments. So you can add a note in GUIDEcx on a task. It syncs over as a comment in Jira, and then they sync back and forth. And also time tracking. So you can enter time tracking in GUIDEcx, and it will sync over to a Jira work log, and vice versa. Jira work logs sync back over to GUIDEcx. So the time tracking will be in sync in both tools, and no duplication of effort. Now, sometimes you might have a situation where you want to sync a GUIDEcx project to one Jira project, but you may also have multiple teams that work in Jira, each that work out of their own Jira project. So we're now offering you in the V3 integration the ability to sync with multiple Jira projects. And for example, like here's a project with a couple of tasks, and we give you several ways to define the mapping of how you're going to sync over to the different Jira projects. So one of the ways that I'll show you is via task tags. So you could have on one GUIDEcx project multiple tasks, each of which is syncing to a different Jira project. And you can specify that mapping by task tag, or what I'm showing here in this example is our new task custom fields. So you can open up a task, then there's a task custom field. You can specify the Jira project to sync this specific task to, and then that will go and create a task over in the appropriate Jira project. And of course, then once the issues in Jira, you get back all the back and forth syncing I mentioned on the last slide. And also, you can traditionally create tasks in GUIDEcx, and they will sync over to Jira, creating an issue in Jira. But we're also offering now an additional capability, flexibility, where you can have when the initial project syncing takes place, we can either create an epic in Jira that then all of the issues that are created are linked to, or you can specify that you don't want an epic created over in Jira. So one thing nice about having the integration create an epic in Jira is that every GUIDEcx project will have its own epic in Jira. So all the issues related to that GUIDEcx project will be all linked to that epic. But some teams don't want that and don't need that. And so we offer you the capability of either creating an epic in Jira or not. And then also you can create a brand new issue in Jira and it will sync over to GUIDEcx. So the origin of the task or issue could be in either tool, and then it can sync over, creating a corresponding task or issue. Okay, so now let's take a look at the demo. So I've got GUIDEcx on the left, and I've got Jira on the right. And so first off, I'm in a template in GUIDEcx. And if I open up a task, you can see that we have the sync with Jira toggle switch. And so this is how on a template in GUIDEcx, you can specify the tasks that you are always going to want syncing over to Jira and creating issues. So then once I've created a project, all of those settings, the specific tasks that I've specified that I want to sync to Jira, then I don't have to duplicate that again. I'm just reusing the same templates and over again on different projects. So then when I have an actual project, then all the tasks will copy over from the template, and the settings, like the Jira settings, will copy over as well. But of course, you could create a brand new task in GUIDEcx and have it sync over to Jira as well. Okay, so I've got a live project, but I haven't set up any syncing to Jira yet. So here's how you would actually make the initial connection. So I just edit the project and I come down here and I say, okay, I'm going to sync with Jira, and I'm going to do it. In this case, I want to sync this GUIDEcx project to a single Jira project, and I want to create an epic. I also have the flexibility of saying, do I want to create all the issues now? Do I want to wait until the task goes live in GUIDEcx to create an issue? I'll just say create them all immediately. And let's say I'm going to pick between my Jira projects. And if I want the ability to sync from Jira to GUIDEcx, like create a brand new issue in Jira, have it create a GUIDEcx task, then I just populate what the default milestone is. So like, okay, so now I've specified that this product verification milestone is going to be the place that all of the tasks that the integration creates are going to reside. Okay, so now the integration is running. It's going to create an epic over in Jira, and then it's going to create each of the issues. And that's because I'd specify that I want to go ahead and create issues immediately. You can have it where it'll create the issues only when the task goes live, when its dependencies met. Okay, so now what we can see is we've got an epic was created, named after this GUIDEcx project. And we're getting issues over here as well for the tasks that were where I toggled that sync to Jira on. So if you look at this epic that was created, we notice that it's linked to these child issues in Jira. So I can open up one of these tasks over in Jira, And I can say, make a comment here, like working on this now. And I can, like, let's say, let's add a little bit of time. So let's say that I worked 90 minutes on this issue, and I'm working on configuration settings. Okay, and so then also let's say that I just want to mark it as in progress. Okay, so all those changes, as I was making the changes, they're syncing back over to GUIDEcx. So now we'll see that the progress, the status has been updated to in progress within seconds. And I can go into the task and I can see the notes. Okay, so here is that note that I had added in Jira, and it synced over. It's told me what the comment was, and it told me that it came from Jira. It wasn't, it didn't originate in GUIDEcx, and it tells me who actually wrote the note over in Jira. So I can write back and say, thank you. Okay, and now that comment is appeared as a task note in GUIDEcx, as it always does, and it's going to sync over to Jira. And then also, I had added some time. I'd added an hour and a half of time uh, on the issue in Jira. If I open it up, there's an hour and a half, and my comments synced over, and who entered the time in Jira syncs over. So now both teams are able to track time in their tool of choice. Oh, and also notice that on the task we have a custom field that has been automatically populated with the Jira issue link. And so now I can click on this, and it brings me over right into Jira, into the issue, and I could even see here's that note that I entered in GUIDEcx that's synced over to Jira. Okay, so we've got well, we created a project. The tasks that we'd specified on our template in GUIDEcx to sync automatically, they did, and we're able to sync status, notes, time, and this way, both teams are able to stay in sync. Now, this was an example of how we're able to do it where one GUIDEcx project is syncing over to one Jira project. But let's say that we want to sync a GUIDEcx project to multiple Jira projects. So let's take a look and see how we do that. Okay, so if we notice this these tasks up here, they have a tag on them that defines which project in Jira we're going to sync each individual task in GUIDEcx to. And I can configure that similarly to what I did before. I can just say, I'm going to make this the sync mode. I'm going to sync to multiple Jira projects, and we're going to do the mapping by task tag. Let's say I want to create the issues immediately. And I don't need to specify what the Jira project is because um, the integration is going to figure it out on a task by task basis. So if we take a look at like, let me just open up one of these tasks and we can see how it's doing the mapping. So I have tags in GUIDEcx, and notice one of them says Jira project key CMP2. That's this project over here in Jira. And the other one says Jira project key GHIJ. So that is this other project. So notice, okay, there we go. One of the tasks synced over to this project in Jira. And we'll see the other task will sync over to this project. And now we've got tasks in GUIDEcx that are syncing to individual Jira projects. We can come in here and like move the status. And we then have all the syncing back and forth that we were showing before. All right, so this one will take a few seconds, I guess. Oh, there we go. Okay, so this one's synced over to its own project in Jira. So now you can have two different teams in Jira, each that do their own work and have their own boards, their own statuses, and so forth. And you can define the mapping in between GUIDEcx task status to each individual Jira project. So we can map the priorities, the status, the type of Jira issues, and now both teams can stay in their tool of choice. Okay, so that's a brief look at the integration. And just summarize, you've got now the ability to sync between tasks and issues, all the standard fields and custom fields. Then we also give you the ability to sync tasks and comments and notes and time tracking. You can sync to multiple Jira projects, a single Jira project. You can sync issues immediately when you the project's created, or only when a task in GUIDEcx has its dependency met. And you can also sync to multiple projects by task tag or custom field. And that's the new Jira V3 integration. So, Stacy, do we have any
That's
questions?
awesome, Jeff. No questions on the chat except for a comment that you're a wizard, which I wholeheartedly agree with. So thanks for demoing. I love the flexibility that this gives teams, especially during onboarding, if there's any issues, to send those tickets to their team and each work out of their own systems, but not duplicate any work or effort. So thank you.
All right. Okay, so then I have one other integration to briefly talk about, and this is our ConnectWise integration. So ConnectWise is a PSA tool that some teams use to manage projects out of. And we've had customers that have a team that is using ConnectWise, but they're not interacting with their own customers via ConnectWise, since GUIDEcx has a lot of great features for introducing the project to a customer user and allowing them to see the progress easily. What they want to do is have their team that is in ConnectWise be able to manage the project there, but then everything is syncing over to GUIDEcx so that their customers can see the progress there in GUIDEcx. And then you have once again kind of the best of both worlds. So what the ConnectWise integration does is when a project is created in ConnectWise, then it will create a project in GUIDEcx. And then in ConnectWise, you have the concept of phases, and underneath the phase, you have different tickets. So each phase in ConnectWise will create a milestone automatically in GUIDEcx. And each ticket in ConnectWise will create a task in GUIDEcx. And then you get bidirectional syncing from that point on, where you can update the status, the project status, signees, start and due dates, and we'll sync back and forth between the project in GUIDEcx and the project in ConnectWise. So that's our ConnectWise integration. I'm going to turn it over to Chris.
Awesome. All right. I really appreciate Jeff covering those integration options. We'll now get into some changes that are right around the corner, about to imminently release out to general availability here over just the next few days. So first, View As has been one of our longer betas. We take it very seriously because anything related to access is something that we want to test and double test. So many of you have given excellent feedback in the community about this beta as you've chosen to opt in via labs to this open beta. So that opt in, opt out is something that we plan to still make an option for you here for at least a few more days. But we're about to change our default behavior from having everybody opted out to having our default behavior to everybody opted in. So over the next few days, you will still be able to opt out if for any reason you observe something that hasn't been caught in our testing. But even just over the past few hours, some big improvements have been pushed out through the deployment pipeline to our production environments that should hit all workspaces. And if even in the past you might have had any issues about load times or consistency or just even API support, you can expect that to be much, much, much smoother now, especially this week. So what that means, just as a quick flyby, in the Teams view now, when you have this new opt-in by default turned on for everyone, you'll see these View As buttons, especially for the external customer team. so that you can emulate their view, whether their view is Encompass or whether their view is full project, and just give you confidence that you're giving them the experience that you're comfortable with before you actually invite them. After you do that, what we would expect is that you would truly be able to have it narrowed down just to the scope of what their role is limited to. So if you wanted to, you could continue to make changes from this view, but the audit log will track it as you, even though you're emulating and impersonating them. In that way, we can always keep track of who is doing what. And that's what this yellow bar at the top is for. And if for any reason you're satisfied with the preview, you can always X that out and you'll go back to where you started. Now, one of the reasons that I personally have been using this a ton myself lately is with the release that we had in our last month's office hours that talked about the customizable resources tab in Compass. So if you haven't tried this out, I highly recommend it. You can drag in any image or PDF or video or slide deck or even reports, and you can securely share that out with your customers where they are really focused already in your project views. If you're interested in activating this tab, let your CSM know, and View As can be a great way to give you confidence that what you're dragging in is truly formatted the way that you would want. So bouncing now from defaulting View As on for everybody to another thing that we're about to default on for everyone is merge tags. For about a quarter now, you've been hearing a lot from me about custom fields. And custom fields really gave us these three benefits in gray. And they're all solid. They're all very highly adopted. It's been one of the most quickly adopted features we've released in a long time. But custom fields have allowed us to have custom segments in our reports so we can filter down by specific groups, a lot simpler recipes so that we can speak the language of any other system bidirectionally. And then in the UI, shortcuts to be able to pull in custom columns to the global projects page and really get down to the projects that align with the context that you need. So even though that's all kind of old news, what is new, and we've been really wanting to kind of finish this off about, is how custom fields as well can be used in dynamic personalization of messages to your customers. Now, in the past, it's always been kind of a frustrating disconnect. You might have done a lot of work for yourselves internally, but then when you wanted to use those values in the custom fields as merge tags, you had to pretty much start from scratch all over again. And that right there is the pain that we are killing. You no longer will need to repopulate all the values for a merge tag just for them to reflect what was in a custom field, because now they'll all be unified. Custom fields and merge tags are becoming the same thing. And so as we unify them, the next thing that we've learned from a lot of our custom field releases is that we must absolutely give you confidence that you can pick up where you left off. So the way that we're doing that is that as we migrate all these merge tags into custom fields, you can still reference the old merge tag IDs, and we will just map you over to the new custom field migrated ID. And you will never have to worry that your recipes are going to break, and that any of the automations you've had in the past will continue to work. But one of the biggest feature requests for merge tags has been for us to more intelligently parse when the curly brackets are injected into a message that is either sent via email or kept in app, and to always look if there's a valid field for the content in those brackets, and to always swap out that field for its actual dynamic value. So as you start to take advantage of our messages beta, or as you start to do more with email, you can now copy and paste custom fields and merge tags into different messages and expect them always to be rendered correctly. So let's look at where things are going to change. This is just about to roll out here over just the next few days. But the first thing is that we'll no longer have separated global management pages for these two closely related items. The custom merge tags page will go away, and everything that used to be in there will now be found inside of the custom fields subpage. So this will option also disappear here. Now, the second thing to help you understand whether it used to be a merge tag or not will be this icon of whether it's locked or not. If it's locked, that means it's an internal private custom field. It's something that's only meant for your team. It could be sensitive context that you never want to confuse a customer with. But if it does not have that lock icon, that means it's an external public custom field. And that you are fine with customers seeing that, either in the way that we dynamically render them in messages and emails, or whether we just display them inside of the custom fields tab inside of projects. So the way that you can edit that now is the same that it's always been, but it's just more powerful. So if I click on the pencil icon on any custom field now, it all focuses down on this toggle in the bottom. So again, if it's internal only and this is active, that means it's private and it's blocked from customer view. But if it's off and it's deactivated, that means it's external and can be used as a merge tag. And now you can just change your mind as many times as you want and change and activate or deactivate this option to either hide its visibility or hide its eligibility for injection inside of an email and a message to your customers. So from there, it'll be all the same flows you used to have. You can still just go, for example, into the task edit drawer, click what used to be called the merge tags button up in the top left and expect that to render inside of emails and messages. But now, instead of being called merge tags there, we just call it custom fields. And you can click that and expect anything that is publicly externally visible to be eligible as something to be injected, like that assignee first name here. So to re-emphasize what I mentioned about backwards compatibility, this is where we've done deep testing, and we're finishing that here this week, is that whenever you have an ID that gets referenced in a merge tag, it's going to say, oh, I know what you really mean. What you really mean is that you want to either update a value or just populate a value for that ID. And we're going to go find its related value in the migrated custom fields, and it's still going to work. And few of you actually consume our API raw like this in scripts that you write. Most of you are inside of Recipe Builder, which I love. And so that's why you're going to see this green box in Recipe Builder that says, hey, we've updated the API to have an even newer version. And in a single click, you can just release this latest version of the connector, and you're going to be able to count on all the new values that we released with custom fields now applying to merge tags. So data types, data validation, object types like project or task, and all those extra benefits of custom fields are now inherited by merge tags, and it should make your messaging easier and more flexible and more dynamic than ever. So once we get the testing finished this week, you'll see some in-app messaging confirming that that's fully released. We just wanted to give you an early preview since we are only days away from being done. And really, if you do nothing at all, that's fine. Everything will continue to work, but you can take advantage of some of these easier, more flexible options as you move forward. So as we release view as and merge tags to GA in the next few days, then the next things that we would encourage you to take a look at are the messaging threads beta and the new plan view beta. So with messaging threads, we're going to be moving that here to labs probably another week or two. And then with plan view, if you're interested in seeing how those workflows are much less click heavy and much faster loading, reach out to your CSM. We would love to set up a workspace for you to be able to test this new plan view in a very safe place. And then following on in a much more distant view over the horizon is some very early internal alphas we're doing around forms and trying to bring that natively into GUIDEcx so that you don't have to use recipes to third-party survey solutions to collect data from your customers. So these are the things that we're working on here in the short term. Slightly longer term is a big focus on bulk edit, whether that bulk edit happens in the new template library or pushing from that library out to projects that reference it, or with customers that have multiple locations in their projects and need to push bulk actions from a parent project down to child projects, or even just basic bulk actions in the global task view or in Gantt view. So that will be kind of the big things we're looking at here in developing over the next quarter. And then right around the corner into the beginning of next year will be a big push on PSA. where professional services automation with time tracking, resource management will get easier to use and more automated, whether in bringing you visibility into who's overbooked, getting alerts on that, helping them just be human and take time off more easily in a unified calendar, and then even having some approval flows from that form builder we talked about on some of their time entries. So these are the exciting things to look forward to here, kind of through the end of the fall and into the winter.
Perfect. Thanks, Chris. Thanks, Jeff. And thanks to everyone who joined. We're excited about what's to come, and we hope that you'll get involved in some of these betas and also look out for announcements from us as we continue to release new features. Thanks, guys. Have a great rest of your day.